All right, boys, welcome back. Tradon. We're going to be talking about the Stanley Cup Playoffs. It's been a pretty crazy playoffs. I think a lot of series have not gone the way that we expected them to. I know my bracket's pretty fucked. So, Tradon, take us away.
Well, to start, my bracket was fucked after the first round because I'm an idiot. So there you go. I'm going to start with the that's moved on, and that's the Bolts beating the Bruins in 5 games. Tyler, I told you, I asked you to walk through this series. I'm just going to give you a couple of my points. I think that the Bolts were the better team of the whole series. I do think that Boston was the better team in Game 5, but the better team in each game doesn't necessarily win the game. But I think that the better team wins the series most of the time. That's why we have 7-game series. But overall, I think that Boston losing their star goalie was a problem. Even though Tampa was missing Stamkos, their depth is huge. And the last time a President's Cup trophy team won was Chicago in 2013. I thought it was earlier than that, but it wasn't. So that stretch, that curse still remains. So Tyler, I think that, well, I guess we won't go into that. What do you think of this series? Well, what do you think of that series? What do you think of the Bolts? How did everything kind of?
Yeah, I mean, it was rough. I mean, I obviously was pulling for the Bruins because they were my pick to win the Stanley Cup. I'm not really a Bruins fan, but obviously that was the team that I wanted to win. Yeah, I mean, this was a hard fought series. I think a lot of these games were really close. I think the series being 4-1 kind of overshadows how close these games were. I mean, Tampa Bay won 2 overtime games, and those could have easily swung the other direction, and we could have, a 3-2 series in Boston's favor right now. But the fact is, it didn't happen. I think I talked last week about how it was kind of Tampa Bay's offense versus Tampa Bay's offense versus Boston's defense. Mm-hmm. And Tampa Bay's defense, I think, was the thing that won this series for them. They had the Boston Bruins had so many stretches where they were just pounding the net, and they stopped them. And I got to give credit to Andrei Vasilevsky. Tradon, you asked me who my MVP was going to be. For me, that's Vasilevsky. I think he was a stud this series. There's a lot of good players in the Lightning, but for me, in that Game 5, he made 45 saves. He's got like a .930 save percentage right now. He's killing it. So yeah, credit to the Lightning. They stepped up. They're looking good. They're looking like a good, well-rounded hockey team. And whoever they face in the Eastern Conference Final, I think it's going to be a tough task to get past Tampa Bay.
Definitely. Well, what's interesting on this one is this is the most OT wins that the Bulls have racked up in their postseason at 5, but they're only halfway to meeting the record, which was 10 back in '93 when the Canadiens won the Cup against the Kings in the Stanley Cup Final. How important do you think that stat is for this team? I mean, it seems like when these overtime games, do you think that's going to give them such a big advantage, or do you kind of just throw that stat out as, oh, it's kind of cool?
No, I think 100% it gives you a huge advantage. I think overtime in playoffs, I mean, they're huge and they can be turning points in series. I think it was Game 2 that went to overtime. That was a huge turning point in that series. And, I think that those overtime wins is when you really grind it out. You've already played a full 60 minutes of hockey. Sometimes these overtimes go 2, 3, 4. I mean, we saw that Game 1, in the previous series against the Blue Jackets was just crazy. And they just keep playing these overtime games and they keep winning them, and those are huge. I think those are huge series shifting wins. Like I mentioned, and this series could easily be 3-2 Bruins, but they ended up winning it because they got those 2. So I think it gives teams a huge confidence boost going forward that, hey, if we get past regulation, we're going to find a way to grind it out in OT.
Gotcha. I do give I tip my hat to Vasilevsky. I think that Braden Point is definitely a big candidate as well. I think he's the big reason why they even have an offense. To be honest, he wins. He's had consistent game winners. He's recorded at least a point in all but one of their games. Three multi-point games. That was even before their last one. 2 overtime goals. So I think he's not a huge star in their lineup, but he's definitely him and Vasilevsky are definitely my high picks for the Conn Smythe out of that off that team. But so we'll see who they're going to play when we move on now to the Islanders Flyers. So thank you, Tyler. Islanders lead the Flyers 3-2. Alex, I asked you to kind of keep track on this one. To me, turnovers have been kind of the Flyers' issue. They just, at least before today, they haven't seemed to get the it was kind of it just seems like they're just, they're continuing their defensive style. The Islanders just swallow up the middle of the ice. They have no chance to get the puck out on the Flyer side. A big issue until today, in my opinion, was Claude Giroux. He is considerably one of the worst postseason players I've seen production-wise. 1 goal in his last 14 games, except for today. He's only mustered 8 assists in that same time. He is driving the 5-on-5 possession side, so I do appreciate that, but he just doesn't produce. Alex, your captain is not scoring consistently every postseason. Does this concern you as a teammate?
Yeah, sometimes it's not all about scoring, obviously, what the captain does.
For sure.
But when your name is Claude Giroux, you need to be scoring more than what you're doing now. But you're 100% right. The Islanders are swallowing up the middle of the ice. Flyers cannot get the puck out of their zone and kind of get their offense set up. Shout out to the Islanders, though. We've been talking about them every single podcast. It feels like we say the same thing. Man, dude, they just swallow teams up. They're so boring, but they're getting the job done. Even in that Game 2 win for the Flyers, I would watch that whole game. The Flyers went up 3-0 early on. They pulled Varlamov, and I was like, dang, okay, here we go. Philly's just going to run them over. No, that was it. The rest of the game, the Islanders just took control. And, Eric's brought it up too. They remind us a lot of when the Kings are in their heyday in their early 2010s. They just swallow teams up. They wait for their spot. Their forechecking has been off the charts, which is, again, how they're swallowing up the middle of the ice, and just the Flyers are just getting stuck in their zone. Sean Couturier is doing a great job. But, yeah, if you're a Philadelphia Flyers fan, staving off elimination today was huge. Try to get that momentum rolling. But, yeah, you need Claude Giroux to start putting pucks in the back of the net.
Yeah, definitely. And I know I give him credit. He scored today. To me, the Islanders are kind of one of the most, I think we've said it, they're one of the most unlikely teams, in my opinion. They don't have much star power. I mean, they have Matt Barzal, cool. A key highlight, interestingly, was their acquisition of Jonji Pajot. He has 7 goals, 2 assists, for 9 points in 13 games. That was before today. As a third-line center. So, that's huge. Do you think that the Islanders have the 2 best goaltenders in the league as a tandem?
As a tandem?
Because to me, it seems like you could throw Greiss or Varlamov out.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah. It sure seems that way right now. Goaltending is how much skill you have as a goaltender. A good part of it is how good your defense is. And obviously, I know we keep just beating this down, but obviously the Islanders are probably the best defensive team left here in the Cup Finals. And yeah, their tandem, when we were talking about how Tyler mentioned you asked for MVPs and you said same thing to me, that was going to be my pick for the Islanders MVP is that goaltending tandem. Varlamov has an off night in Game 2. Greiss comes in, shuts him out. No goals for the rest of the game. Varlamov's been playing off, and since then he's been playing great. And for the Flyers in the same time, I mentioned early on that if they want to continue going on, Carter Hart's got to play well. So,
yes.
And he's been playing fine. But yeah, now that I think about it, yeah, they might have the best 1-2 punch in the net right now.
Yeah, definitely. So in my opinion, I think that I don't know how the Flyers win 2 games. Actually, in this last game, they were down 3-1 and they came back, and the Islanders came back and almost won it in overtime. So I don't I don't know how you feel, but in your view, I assume the Islanders are probably going to move on, right?
I do think they're going to move on. I don't want to say that because the Flyers were my pick to win the Cup,
right.
And what I recall is all of your guys' teams are out. So I'm going to stick with my boys since mine's the last pick that's still in the playoffs. So I'm going to believe in them. But realistically, yeah, the Islanders, I can't imagine the Flyers beat them 2 more times.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It'll be interesting. I think the series is exciting, even though the hockey is not exciting. The way the games are going are exciting, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, moving on to the West. Thank you, Alex. We're not going to talk about the game that's going on right now. We're going to let it go as far as it can. Eric, James, I asked you to check tabs on the Stars and Avs. You were very, very on the bandwagon of the Dallas Stars. And I think some of us kind of questioned that. For me, before this series, I thought, oh wow, the Stars are done. Whoa, wow, were we wrong? The Stars are just not a boring team. They are scoring 5 goals a game consistently and easily. They score in bunches. They came out strong in. The Stars came out strong in the Avs came out strong in Game 4, and they were up 3-1 before the Stars even registered a shot. But then all of a sudden, you look at the last period. I'm sorry, that was Game 4. I was like the last game. Excuse me. You saw the last period, and to me, it was all Stars. If the score wasn't up, I would have said, "Wow, the Stars are winning this game." James, do you feel confident that your Stars are going to come finish the season or series, or what?
Yeah, I do. I'm a huge Stars fan nowadays. I was a Ducks fan, but I think I might be a Stars fan now. The biggest thing about Game 5 was, Ben Bishop came back. That was a mistake.
Yeah,
like the morning skate, he was unfit to play. He played 14 minutes in Game 5 and gave up 4 goals.
Yeah,
the dude, leave it up to Kudobin. He's doing a really good job right now, and they're winning with him in goal in net. So why'd you take him out?
No,
that was a bad call in my opinion. So if it wasn't for Ben Bishop playing, they might have a better shot to win. Maybe they don't give up 5 goals in the first period.
I absolutely agree. I think Rick Bowness kind of made a mistake there. I think that's going to bite them in the ass. But when you're looking at the last half of that game, it was all Stars. They came back. It was just too many goals to come back from. I understand that, but they won the last 2 periods handedly, in my opinion. So, in your opinion, what do the Avs need to get back in this series? I mean, I don't think that they're going to have the chance to beat Ben Bishop again. What do you think they need to do to beat this Stars team, with Hudobin in the net?
I think overall they have to be more physical. If you look at the stats for the last 5 games, for 4 of the 5 games, the team that had the most hits and more blocks, they won the game. And right now, the Avs just aren't as physical as the Stars are. The Stars are just playing bully ball, and they're forcing their will, and it makes people tired and makes you not want to play. But that's what the Stars do, man. They score goals in bunches, and they're physical.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think Pavel Francouz is solid enough for this team to rally behind to win 2 more games?
I don't know. I actually really like Michael Hutchinson. He did really well in his first start. He only gave up 3 goals. He had a 9-12 save percentage. He did really well.
Mm-hmm.
I liked him better in goal than I did Francouz. He looked a little bit more confident. Francouz looked nervous from the get-go.
Yeah.
He gave up 5 goals in Game 4 before being pulled. I like Michael Hutchinson a lot more, but I do want the Stars to win, so put in Pavel, please.
For sure. So, in your opinion, who are your MVPs for each of these teams? We talked about Miro Heiskanen, but who do you think is your Stars MVP?
For the Stars, you just said it, Miro Heiskanen. That's my guy. He's a defenseman. He plays the most out of anybody on that Stars team right now. He averages between 25 and 27 minutes per game. He has 4 goals and 10 assists for 14 points in the entire playoff series. Right now, for this playoff series in particular, he has the most points.
Mm-hmm.
He's a physical dude. He has 15 hits and has 19 blocks on the series. Like that guy just kills people. And he's only 20 years old, I think, or 22. He's young. He's got a lot of time to develop. He's already really good. I'm excited to watch this guy play. For the Avs, very straightforward, very simple. Anybody could have said this. But Nathan McKinnon, he's pretty much carrying that team. He's 20 points over the entire postseason. He has a +9 point differential throughout the entire playoffs too. So when he's on the ice, good things happen. And he's a great leader. He's the best player on a team that's super talented. He's probably one of the best players in the league.
Yeah,
he's
definitely
for sure.
He's solid second for sure, and could compete. I would have a conversation about first, to be honest with you. And this is coming from one of my other fans. So, James, I really hope you're right. I'd love to see the Stars move on. I think it's awesome to see these lower hockey markets move on. So we'll stay tuned. The last one of the day, Eric. We have Vegas up 3-1. I'm sorry. I know that two and a half of you in this room or on this Zoom chat hate the Vegas Golden Knights. I am going to stroke them off so hard right now. They are relentless boys. They're faster, stronger. They're deeper than the Canucks. Do they have any? I mean, potentially have any Western team, in my opinion. Eric, I understand. It's 15:38 left up where I'm at. It's 2-1 Vancouver. Do you honestly think that Vancouver can win 3 games in a row?
Are you standing up right now?
I am absolutely standing up.
Yeah, I could tell you're going tonight. My heart believes they can win 3 games. My brain believes they cannot win 3 games in a row on Vegas. I hate to say it. It seems even that they're up 2-1 right now in 15 minutes. Vegas is going to fucking come back. They do it every time. Game 3, the Canucks just got mollywopped. I think they lost 3-0, but it was just like, you know what that game reminded me of? That Vegas is kind of like the Islanders of the West. They're boring to watch, frustrating, and they just keep winning.
Oh, dude. I don't
know.
No
one likes to watch them.
Dude, oh, my God. Okay, you want my rant to be there?
And hold on. But, I mean, following the back-to-back, that game 3, they got mollywopped. Next day they play again, and they have a 3-goal fucking third period. It didn't surprise me at all. But to me, they're boring to watch. They have a similar style to the Islanders where they eat you up at center ice. They don't let you get the puck in the zone. And when they go up 2-0, they just pounce on the puck and frustrate you. That game they won 3-0, that's exactly what happened. The first game they won, they scored 5 goals, but that same shit happened. I think it was 3-0 going into the third. They're frustrating. They don't give you a lot of chances once they go up. That's, to me, what reminds me of the Islanders and them.
That's fair.
Last thing I'll say is that I bet $100 on Vegas to lose. So I'm going to be in debt, and I'm going to bet on the Stars in the Western Conference Finals to beat Vegas so I break even and not have to owe $200.
Well, you actually answered one of my questions was objectively, not subjectively, is this the most fun hockey squad to watch? You said no. If you watch this team and they don't have a Golden Knights jersey on, the way they transition the puck, the way they pass, the way they forecheck this is what a hockey fan thrives. This is what we watch. This is what I look for. There's no Oilers team in the past 10 years that would even come close to this team. It's not even a contest. This team is so fun to watch, in my opinion. I absolutely love watching them. Are they my favorite team? No. Right now, yes, they are. I love watching them play. Eric, who are your MVPs for the Vegas Golden Knights and the Canucks, assuming one of them were to win the Cup tomorrow?
For Vegas, I'm going to go with Shea Theodore. Puck-moving defenseman, also scores many important goals, gets losses. He's pretty much involved on every point on the ice. And he's, to me, we beat the dead horse, the Kings. He's their Doughty. He's like their guy that runs the puck through the zone, gets the clear going. He's at the point on the power play. He's vocal. I bet everyone loves him in the locker room. And then it's even funny, the Ducks, that's who they gave up when Vegas became a team. And look at what he's doing now. It's a classical Anaheim Ducks maneuver. But I'd go Theodore with the Canucks. I mean, fucking with Vegas. With Canucks, I'm going to go Pedersen.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice.
But I was going to say Toffoli, but he's only played like 2 games. But the 2 games he's played he's been phenomenal, like scoring and getting assists. And that's my Kings bias. But Pedersen he just scored tonight to get them to go up. He's been all over the ice. He's been getting goals, assists, everything. He's helping the power play out. He's a young guy. This is his first time in the playoffs. You got to give him credit for what he's doing. I hope they can at least push it to a game 6. Be nice to have some more hockey on, the next few days.
Yeah, no, we all love more hockey. I absolutely love this series. So, the longer that the Canucks can hold out the Vegas Golden Knights, I think the better for someone like me who loves it. I'm with you though. I like those MVP picks. That kind of wraps it up. What's going to happen? It looks like both of the Eastern teams are coming over to Edmonton for the conference finals. Both of them will be played in the Edmonton bubble. Which kind of makes sense because the Stanley Cup final was going to be played there, so it only makes sense just to bring over the conferences, and then they can kind of manage one bubble for the next, last 3-4 weeks. Boys, it's getting close. I'm loving the hockey. Really loving the Western matchups. I think they're way more fun to watch than the Eastern, unfortunately, but that just is my Western bias. But with that's hockey. Next week we're going to see who's in the conference final.
And on Train, great job as always.